colon cancer has overtaken breast cancer as a cause of death, and it's people under 50 that's driving that.
It's true. I think the spike protein is partially playing a role. And there have been papers going back to 2021 suggesting maybe the infection grant and the vaccine could be promotional of cancer. The spike protein inhibits a two tumor suppressor systems. One's P53, the other one BRCA. And early on, we actually saw male prostate cancers begin to rise, bladder cancers like Deion Sanders, former Dallas Cowboy great. He's got a bladder cancer, clearly qualifies as a turbo cancer. And then Kevin McKernan, a molecular biologist, has found the vaccine and the spike protein directly in colon cancer. And the scary thing about this is colon cancer before the age of 50, people don't even have a shot at this because screening colonoscopy is not covered until age 50.
So can you get the spike protein from just the virus?
Yes.
So now you add in, because the spike protein is in the vaccine, right?
In large quantities, the vaccine installs the genetic code to produce a huge amount of spike protein. So we measure antibodies against the spike protein, Grant. The average patient with long COVID, in a paper by Barham and colleagues, is about 2,000 units per ml on the spike protein blood test at LabCorp. The average person who took the vaccine with problems is at 11,000 units per ml. A safe limit is below 1,000. So everybody should go to LabCorp, get their spike protein blood test. You can order it yourself on labcorp.com on demand. Get your test. If you're below 1,000, you're good. But if you're above 1,000, Grant, like I was, we should go on Ultimate Spike Detox and get this out of our body.
That's this. This is the Ultimate Spike Detox, twc.health/Grant. So obviously, if you get the virus and the vaccine, now you're getting a huge dose of this spike protein. Do the studies show that? I mean, part of me worries that we're just going to have an increase in turbo cancers because just about everybody had COVID at some point in their life. You got all these large percentage that are getting vaxxed. Can you determine that the vaxxed are more likely than just people who had COVID?
Those data are still forthcoming. You know, the National Center for Health Statistics, the CDC, and the National Cancer Institute, the SEER Registry, they actually have all the vaccine data and all the cancer data emerging. They should merge the files. This is what RFK should be doing. Jim O'Neill at the CDC, Jay Bhattacharya at the National Institutes of Health. They will not touch spike protein diseases. I think it's so frightening to the public. They should do it. Remember, an average cancer, let's say a solid organ cancer like a kidney cancer or colon cancer, it is brewing for 5 years, Grant, before it's clinically detected. So most of the cancer we're seeing now started around 2020 or 2021.
So does the cover-up continue then? If these are good men, I believe, when you talk about the two men you mentioned, including RFK, but is it a cover-up? Is it just that it's too dangerous to go too close to this?
Yeah, I've met Jim O'Neill. I know RFK. I've met Jay Bhattacharya. I know them all, and it's so hard to read. You know, none of them have faced an open microphone where they've just taken questions from the crowd. You know, I do that routinely. I was with Lance Wallnau at the Trump Doral last weekend. You know, I was up on stage. I took question after question. People meet me afterwards. There's something about both the Trump administration and the Biden administration. They seem to be fearful of facing questions head on. They really do. They'll go on podcasts and other things where things are controlled. But, you know, sooner or later, our public health agencies are going to have to face the public like you and I do.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, why even today it still seems there's this kind of veil of secrecy surrounding all this, that they just don't want to go there, and it's like Icarus flying too close to the sun or something, but they just don't want to get there. And I think at some point, people are hungry for answers. And this goes in many directions, you know, this administration. And I love, you know, I'll go to the mat for Trump. Nobody's going to be more MAGA than me. But, you know, when it comes to some of the retribution, and I use that term, retribution I want, whether it's Fauci, whether it's the the DOJ that just committed so many crimes against Americans. We want it faster. We want it faster. And I think that goes for the same thing inside HHS.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree, Grant. I mean, you're a loyalist. I'm always kind of down the middle. I stay in my lane on the medical topics. But I think that's the reason why independent media is so important. You turn on either the left or the right, you're not getting the balance and the analysis that you're getting on a show like yours. So keep up the great work.
Well, I appreciate it. I don't know whether for Democrats, if it's a positive for them when it comes to politics and a negative for us, but we're not always on the same page. I will criticize the Trump administration if they're doing something that I'm not. I'll try to talk to somebody in there and see if I can get some change. Mm-hmm. If not, it doesn't mean I abandon them and just leave. But boy, Democrats, they get on the same page. There's no budging them, even if common sense is smashing them in the face.
That's so true. And they did with the vaccines. Do you know every single member in the Democratic Party in Congress took the vaccine? Everyone. And, even in the first Trump administration, every cabinet member took the vaccine except for Ben Carson. So I know Ben, and he told me that because they were talking it. And so I think with the vaccine, particularly became this polarizing thing. And you have people like Senator Ron Johnson. He goes, I didn't take it.
Yeah.
You have people like Rand Paul have come out and said, listen, Fauci committed crimes. I don't care about his 10 years of clemency. His book, by the way, Deception, is a great book. And Rand Paul is doing everything he can to bring justice. I think the public should get behind senators who are trying to, bring some resolution. This pandemic messed us up, Grant. I didn't expect it coming. We're 6 years into it. Our CDC is saying we're in the 14th wave of COVID, if you can believe it or not.
Jeez, unbelievable. Well, I don't really know to this day why I didn't get the vax. I mean, I do now later on and so everything, but I just had something in me said, I'm not doing this. And I don't really even know why, because we didn't have all the information. And I was a big fan, as I am now, of President Trump. And he was saying, get this vax. And I just didn't do it. I'm so grateful that I didn't. Oh. But if you did, folks out there is Ultimate Spike Detox. Get this. This will help you.